So, I don't know about you guys, but Hoyoverse showing off a third game in the year of 2025 was not on my bingo card. We already have Honkai Nexus Anima Petit Planet, and now we have Varsapura. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, while not much of this game is known to us as of now, because the gameplay demo only released recently, one thing that I can say is that third time's the charm, baby. I mean, Honkai Nexus Anima already has some controversy around it with its AI usage. Petit Planet is a game that kind of strikes the not my type of game, or rather, I'm not the target audience type of game. Whereas Varsapura, in my opinion, there is a lot of things that interest me just from this 31-minute gameplay demo. However, there are a few things that I find concerning that changes my whole opinion from very interested to entirely skeptical, but hopefully optimistic. And I want to go through that with you guys, but I actually do want to point out the positives first, because we need to give this game credit though. Even though this is a Hoyoverse game, there are definitely things here, elements that they definitely cooked very well with, and there's definitely a lot of things that needs a little bit more touches, and then there are a few things that are kind of very questionable for me, like should they expand upon it or should they completely change it? We'll have to see how time goes. So the first thing that I really like about what this gameplay demo presents to us is a very atmospheric, kind of horror-ish, even though I don't feel the horror, but it definitely paints that picture, the tone, the setting, the vibe. I really dig it. I'm the target audience if that is where this game is going to go. I also like the fact that 1 minute in this gameplay demo, they already hit you with the job application form. Now, fortunately for me, I'm already a full-time worker, and I know there's a lot of you guys there are still unemployed, but my hopes and prayers go to you guys, genuinely. I'm only off joking, by the way, but I just thought this segment was really funny to start off the demo. It also does look like this will be another game that has a self-insert MC. Maybe later down the line there will be a male, but from the entire 31 minutes, we've only seen female playable characters, so who knows, maybe this will be a game that only has playable female characters. I really love the aesthetic of the open world. It reminds me a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5, just in a much more cleaner and modernized version of it. I know this is apparently based on Singapore regions, so shout out to my Singapore people who really dig the references to their own hometown. Here in this segment we see the MC with different set of clothing. Maybe this game will lean more into the cosmetics and less into the gacha aspect. We don't know much on the gacha yet, it's only a wait and see moment. I think that's all the things that I can point out that I really liked from this demo. And now I want to talk about the things that I'm kind of skeptical or concerned about, or just straight up don't like at all for valid reasoning. First thing I want to point out is the faces of the characters. Now, while I do like the aesthetic of this game as well as the character designs, I think the faces just straight up take me out of it. It's like I'm looking at dolls in real life, just put in the game. Maybe they'll change it later down the line. Hopefully they do change it. However, one character that kind of does fit the look of the doll face is the poster girl, Sayuki. Yanagi walked so Sayuki could run. I think her design is superb compared to the two other characters we've seen. I do like this pinkish Harley Quinn type of character, though again, it's the face that just takes me out of it. Second thing I want to point out is the stealth system that they showcased in this game. Now, while I do love stealth in my games, the thing that makes stealth a very good gameplay feature is how advanced it can get. And in my opinion, if your game is going to use a bare bones to basic structure of a stealth system in your game, I just feel that you should just take it completely out. It's not advanced enough to be considered fun and engaging, if you get what I mean. But since this is only a demo, they'll probably just cook more features into it later down the line. It's only a hopeful thing to say right in this moment. Now we get into the combat, and I would say this is actually my biggest gripe with this demo that has been showcased. I'm looking at the combat and I can't help but feel that there are two elements that are really conflicting with each other. It feels as if it's trying to go for a more grounded feel of combat, but then you have these animations that make the characters want to feel floaty, but it doesn't feel floaty, if you get what I mean. It's like they're trying to incorporate aerial combat, but everything just feels grounded and it really conflicts with each other. Hopefully later down the line they decide what they want to go for, either make the combat more floaty to incorporate more aerodynamics, or they just go for the grounded approach, make it feel slow and steady, precise. We'll have to see how it goes, but I feel like trying to incorporate both at the same time is like trying to mix oil and water. They just don't mesh well together. And then my other reasoning is that looking at the combat, it's adopting the EQ format, and you can see there's a 3-character structure, so this makes me believe that this will be yet another game that has a gacha system implemented. Now, when you think about the games that have been announced this year, Ananta, an open world game that just took out their gacha system. They're only going to sell cosmetics, but you don't gacha for characters. Then there's Silver Palace that we don't know much about, but it's another open world game that is eagerly anticipated. So when we look at this game, Varsapura, should they implement the gacha system? I don't see this game gaining much traction and attention as compared to games like Ananta and Silver Palace that's coming out. Heck, maybe even NTE. There's just a lot of competition in this open world genre at the moment. I know Varsapura has a different setting entirely compared to those other games, but I feel like the whole concept of this game in particular having a gacha system could be the make or break for this game's popularity and attention. Like, be for real with me, guys. How many of you feel that if this game were to have a gacha system, it would just instantly be off your mind completely? I know the fact that it's made by Hoyoverse is enough to make a lot of people feel uninterested already, given the reputation that Hoyoverse has garnered with their monetization practices and the slop that it feels to play Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero. That alone is a big contributing factor, and I know there are people, myself included, that always feel hopeful that maybe this time they can change in a way that their monetization isn't back to the old methods. Like maybe this time they could actually make a game that has a different monetization structure and doesn't feel like I'm playing Genshin Impact with an entirely different coat of paint. Because let's be real, guys, when you open up Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero, and you compare the monetization system, it feels basically one-to-one, and we're just kind of waiting for a brand new game that departs from that systems entirely. So I feel that if this game were to adopt the same gacha system, the same monetization practices as the previous games of Hoyoverse, I don't see the point in this game existing. It just feels like another open world game with a different coat of paint. And I just feel like there's a lot of other gacha games that are coming out next year that are more interesting to play than whatever Varsapura will put out, should it lean in that direction. But since it's still very early to tell and come with our own conclusions, that means there is opportunities for the developers to kind of go on a completely different course and surprise us maybe. But at this point, given the reputation that Hoyoverse has garnered, at least in the West, it's just pure copium at this point. So that's kind of how I feel about Varsapura. Like, I'm very interested in this game, but I feel like if it were to head into the normal monetization practices, my interest in this game would completely die and I'll just move on to the next brand new game that gets announced. So if you liked my insight in this video, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more future insights from me with other games, and I'll catch you in the next one.